Hi, everyone. It's Dr. Shannon South. Hello, hello. Welcome, welcome. Happy to see you this evening. Hello, hello. Where's everybody from? Welcome to put it in the chat, or you're welcome to unmute and let me know. Nice to see faces. This is great. So welcome to Discover the Inner Counselor. I'm Dr. Shannon South, and I'm so happy to be with you. We'll give people just a couple more minutes to come on. It is a beautiful day here in Asheville, North Carolina, and I'm so happy to be with you to talk about probably one of my most favorite things in the world, and that is the inner counselor process. For those of you who don't know me, I am a psychotherapist in Asheville, North Carolina. I've been in private practice for over 25 years. I have my doctorate in spiritual psychology and I have my master's in counseling. And I've been working with people with anxiety and trauma and abuse and stress and spiritual awakening and existential issues and grief and loss and all kind of things for quite a long time. And I'm happy that you're here. This process shows incredible outcomes. We have 1 to 4 sessions, reduction in anxiety in 1 to 4 sessions, reduction in depression. We have an increase in intimate contact or the ability to be in the present moment. And we have a decrease in the mental chatter in the mind and our ability to have healthier relationships and many more benefits that I'm going to be talking with you about tonight. So let's take a moment and take a sacred pause. This is a moment for your day to just drop in. You've probably had a long day. I don't know where you live or what time it is, but just allow yourself to close your eyes. And this is being recorded. So for those of you who aren't able to attend tonight that signed up, you will have this information and can go through it. So drop into your body. Just let your feet feel the ground. Just noticing your breath. What a gift that we are alive today, this breath, breathing you in and breathing out. The gift of life. And imagine you have a ball of light moving up and down from your feet all the way to the top of your head, kind of coming out of the top of your head like a whale spout, and then coming down around your body, cleansing and releasing any stress from your day. Doing that a couple more times, in through your feet, through the top of your head, and out and down into the ground. Beautiful. Taking this sacred pause, just noticing what you notice inside, and honoring that with kind eyes. And as we move forward in tonight's masterclass together, just allowing yourself to know that transformation is real and transformation is here, and we're going to experience some of that tonight. So putting your hand on your heart, taking a few more deep breaths, almost like you could breathe in 360 degrees around your body, breathing in and breathing out. Beautiful. Breathing in and breathing out. And thanking yourself again for being here. And as you feel ready, just gently and slowly opening your eyes and coming back to this class. So this is a picture I took a few weeks ago. I had the joy of going on vacation, and I got to see the sunset at the southernmost part of the United States in Key West. And it was so much fun to be there, to watch the sun drop down over the horizon and close out the day. It was so much joy to see this moment. But we know, as in life, we can have these precious moments, and then life throws us a curveball and something happens and it gets us dysregulated, off center, and we go down a rabbit hole, and sometimes we don't even try to. So what we're going to learn tonight is how to navigate those triggers so that we can become less reactive and become more responsive, meaning we can have that center power, loving, wise self present more and more and more. I've been meditating for many, 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 many years. And I'll tell you a story about that later. But one of my meditation teachers used to say that the more we do these practices, it's like dipping a cloth into a certain color and pulling it out. The more we do it, the more we change. And the more we do it, the more we change. And the cells of our body change. The cells of our body actually change the way they're firing and the way they're wiring. So it's very cool that way. So this is my favorite modality. I learned it in my doctorate program in spiritual psychology, and it's called the inner counselor. What makes it different? Well, I'll give you guys a few tips on that. It gets to the root of the problem in one session. And tonight, since we're doing a group event, you may find that you get to a piece of the root of the problem that you bring up. You may not get the whole root, right? But you may see the root that you have in a way you haven't seen it before, and you'll have a way to transform that, which is so wonderful because I never have to leave my clients hanging in between sessions and hurting and feeling dysregulated. They always leave with a resource and what my teacher used to call an updraft. They leave with an expansion and a way of being that's new and different for them. It also aligns you directly with your most loving self. And Dr. Carl Jung, the Swiss psychiatrist, used to call that your capital S self. And this aspect of you is what brings healing. It's what brings wholeness. I mentioned the studies already. It reduces anxiety and depression and increases self-worth. It also allows you to focus internally. What happens in life, we get externally focused, we get pulled here, we get pulled there, and we try to find the answers from the outside. This allows you to have the answers from the inside out. And I love that because it's so empowering and you receive the answers and the wisdom and the energy of the new pattern within this process. So I'm excited for you to experience that. It also integrates the opposite parts of the self. So we know all of our self is not on the same team, right? We have one part of ourself that may be feeling peaceful, while the other part's feeling anxious or chaotic. And so how do we integrate these two? We're going to find out. We also have one part of us that may be feeling depressed and hopeless, and another part of us that's very positive and very excited about life. And how do we integrate those? So the inner counselor is wonderful for integrating. And what I mean by integration is harmonizing and allowing these parts to work together so you can be the person you want to be instead of wasting energy in a battle internally. And that frees us up. It's a wonderful feeling. And then this process also consistently and effectively transforms old patterns of reactivity and survival. We needed those patterns then, we don't need them now. We needed that way of being then, and we need an update now. It updates your system. So I'm excited for you guys to try this. So, in life, we get very attached. We get attached to the I can'ts. I can do this. I can't do this. I am this way. I'm not this way. These stories, some of them rob us of our life force and they throw us into those very patterns that look like they're swirling downhill. They take us down into freeze where we can't move. We can't act in the way that we want. Or they take us into fight mode, or they take us into flight mode where we're trying to run from things. We don't want to deal. We want to eat or drink or focus on everybody else's problems or whatever we do, right? To get out of our own body and away from what's really going on. So we know these things happen and we want to navigate how we work with those so we can have, again, more of our own inner alignment and our own inner power. But some stories help us become braver and more courageous. And that's a story that we're going to help you integrate today into your being as something that helps give you life, that's life-giving instead of life-taking away. So the inner stories have energy behind them. And sometimes these patterns, again, have helped us survive and we're grateful. We're happy to be here, right? However, sometimes the stories are not helpful and they've helped us in the moment and then we get stuck in them. We have pitched a tent over them to survive and we want to move forward. So what happens when we get stuck in these old patterns? We're living in the past instead of the present. Our life force energy is actually stunted. It's like an eddy in the river. We can't get out of it. Or we're frozen in fight, flight, freeze, or we have too much energy around something and not enough around another. We need harmony. We need harmonious balance. It's like playing a musical instrument. Ding! It's not harmonious. And we want our system to be in harmony and be working together so that we can experience the flow of life. One of my mentors, Marcy Shimoff, did a wonderful movie about the flow state. And when we're in the flow state, we are experiencing more ease, more joy, more lightness, more play, more abundance. And it's so wonderful to be in that groove. So we're unable to feel connected to our creativity and our possibility when we're stuck in these old places. And we're unable to experience the abundance that's right in front of us. Have you guys had that experience? When there's literally something right in front of you going well and you cannot feel it, you can't sense it, and you can't really even see it. I know I have. I remember one time I was working with manifesting more money and aligning with more abundance. And I literally had just gotten a check from a client who paid me the most I've ever gotten paid. And I'm still overthinking and trying to move forward doing these things. And I said, whoa, 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 wait, soak it in. This just happened. Stop and allow the abundance to fill up the cells of my body, because that's when I can experience it. So we can be stunted, anxious, depressed. We can be inflexible and rigid, or we feel helpless or trapped. But the truth is we are free, and we can be free, but we can't experience it when we have these gestalts holding us back. And the way I define gestalts is emotion, mental, and energetic construct. It's like a tangle in your hair. It's a tangle in your life. And we want to move through those tangles. And I'm going to give you a way to do that tonight. So what if you knew things could all work out, that things were coming together for your good? There is a good, orderly direction happening here for you. You're going to see that. What if you knew you were truly more than your circumstances and conditions, that you are an eternal being? Now, we're not talking any religion here. We're just talking, we are a living being that keeps on living. We're alive. I've had too many relatives pass on. There's too much research on life after death for me not to believe this anymore. And so what if we lived from that fact that we are an eternal being living in circumstances and conditions, and we can tap into something that's even more helpful for us than even who we think we are, who we know ourselves to be? So how would you live? My daughter made this sticker years ago when she was a kid, and we were talking about different religions and different spiritual paths. And she said, Mom, I think love is my higher power. And I was like, that is awesome. I love that. So we made a sticker and started handing it out all around town because we were like, love is my higher power. So what choices would you make if you were able to activate love, and you were able to activate wisdom, and you were able to activate power in your life and peace and joy? So I was taken down by a lot of trauma years ago, and this is how I got into this field. I was in my 20s, and I had come from a history of a lot of addiction in my family. I'd been abused by a distant relative. I had lots of trauma growing up, and by my mid-20s, I had a panic disorder. I had anxiety so bad that I hardly could sleep. I even was afraid to drive, and I was having panic attacks multiple times a day, having a hard time even digesting food and eating. I was a hot mess. And so I was so stressed. So I went to a psychiatrist, and the psychiatrist said to me, oh my goodness, you have panic disorder, you have PTSD, you have depression. I'm thinking, what in the world? So he gave me some medications, and I was so relieved. I was able to sleep that night. Well, years later, I decided I want to get off these medicines. I don't like the way I feel on these medications. They're causing me to have all kind of side effects, and I don't like it. I really can't feel all my feelings. I feel like flat, and I'm not happy on the medicines. So I decided to go see a therapist who was going to teach me meditation. I walked into her office and I said, hey, I'm excited. I want to learn meditation. And she pulls out this candle. She set the candle in front of me, and she said, I want you to gaze at this candle for 20 minutes and I'll be back. I said, you've got to be kidding me. She said, no, just gaze at it for 20 minutes and I'll see you in a bit. Well, I was furious. I was like, you've got to be kidding. I'm staring at this stupid candle. I'm paying her. What is she doing? And so I stared at this dumb candle. I'm breathing. I'm frustrated. She comes back in about 20, 30 minutes, and she said, how did it go? I said, I don't know. I've never meditated before. I have no idea. And she said, well, the truth is, if you will do this morning and evening, you will feel better. Gaze at this candle morning and evening up to 20 minutes, and I guarantee you'll have a breakthrough. Well, I thought she's ridiculous. And then she said, that'll be $65. And back in the day, that was a lot. So I paid her, stomped out of there, but I wanted to get better. So I went home and stared at that dagnab candle day and night, day and night. Well, I decided to wean myself off my medicines. And I'm not recommending this at home, by the way, because I'm not a psychiatrist, but I decided to wean myself off my medicines. And I was staring at the candle one night, and all of a sudden, all those panic symptoms return. Elephants on the chest, tightness in my chest. I felt panicky, dizzy, all the stuff. And I thought, if something's out there, help me. I just screamed out. I said, I can't do it anymore. And I'm like bawling, right? Just bawling. Well, all of a sudden, I had this felt like mental breakdown, and this feeling of love and peace absorbed through my body. And I felt this energy that I had never felt before. It was an expanded state of being. And after that moment, you guys, I never had a panic attack again. So I thought, what in the world happened to me? I knew something had changed. So after that, I was getting my master's in counseling at the time. After that is when I decided I'm going on to study mind body medicine. I'm going on to study spiritual psychology. And after I got my master's, I went on and got my doctorate in spiritual psychology. And what they call that is a peak experience. And it's available to all of us, meaning that we can have the cells of our body line up in a new way at any time. And when that happens, we experience a level of consciousness that we have not experienced before. So it could be a small thing like I just feel peaceful, really deeply peaceful. Or it could be a big and when you've had anxiety, that's a big freaking deal, right? Or it could be something small like I feel confident in this situation and I haven't felt that way before. So these are all game changers though, and I want to tell you more about how this happens and how you guys can experience it in using this work. So when I discovered meditation and this inner counselor process, it set me free from these pretty destructive gestalts. I didn't think I was worthy. I didn't think I was attractive. I didn't think I was going to make anything of myself. I was scared of the world. I had a lot of really limiting beliefs. I didn't like men. There's just a lot of problems. And all these things began to free up, and I began to build a healthier life. And now I'm married happily. I have a beautiful daughter, and I have a great business, and I'm healthy. So I feel very blessed to have worked through a lot of these things. And I want to give you guys the tools to help you do that as well. I've also worked with thousands of clients over the last many years and taught and trained many, many, many clinicians from all over the world in this process. So let me tell you more about it. So Marcy Shimoff, she's a transformational leader in our field. I'm teaching her soon this work, her and her staff. But when I've taken her and I've been on her happiness program, she does a lot of wonderful happiness facilitation programs. But I took her through this work and she said, thank you so much for this work. I loved it and felt it was effective and fast. And that's what I want you guys to see tonight is how effective it is and how quickly it can work, because it works on all these levels. And I'll explain a little bit of that to you tonight. She also wrote an ebook during COVID because I was really, really bored of being in the house. And so Marcy wrote the foreword for that. But I appreciated what she said because I use a lot of this inner counselor work in this book. But she said, I'm confident if you follow the transformational principles in this book, you will manifest a life of 200%, 100% inner fulfillment, and 100% outer success. Because what happens is when we clear out these blocks, we have energy for success. We have energy for joy. We have energy for play and fun and healing our grief and our loss. And we change our relationship to whatever's going on in our life, and we are free. We are free. You know, I love that saying. It's our relationship to what's happening, not what's happening. That's the problem and the solution. Say it again. It's the relationship to what is happening, not what's happening. That's the problem and the solution. So we're going to find that solution for you guys in this process tonight. Whatever that you're working on and whatever you bring to the process, you're going to have a new way of being with it and a new way of looking at it and a new way of feeling about it. That's what's so key. We want to be able to feel it, not just think about it, because our mind is limited. Parent coach Amy Behrens, I taught her this work, and I'm giving you these tools. I'm giving you these people that have trained in it because I wanted you to see the potential before you do it. Okay. So one of the most impactful tools she said that she has as a parent coach is the inner counselor process. And she says it's because it helps these parents that she works with heal their wounds so they can actually be a parent that's coming from wisdom and love and freedom. Can you imagine that? A parent that's that nurturing and that loving. And how cool that she can help her parents do that. And she also said she worked with a client who had so many shoulds. You guys know that part of us that gets real critical. I should be this way. I should do that way. I should have this. I should be that. I should. And this woman had so many shoulds that it was ripping apart her relationship with her daughter. And so Amy took her through the inner counselor process, and she was able to accept her daughter and give her unconditional love, which healed their relationship and created a totally different dynamic in the house. Isn't that cool work that Amy's doing? Very much wanted to share that because I love that. And last but not least, this woman, Rachel, I taught her, she's a somatic body worker and she does a lot of art therapy and counseling. And I have the gift box here on this diagram because there's a gift in every process and you'll get your gift tonight. But since learning this, and I mean inner gift, I don't mean like I'm going to mail you something. You'll get your inner gift tonight. But she said this about the inner counselor. She said, since learning this spiritual psychology process, I've been able to use it with a number of clients with complex trauma and abuse. And she said one client struggling with the panic disorder especially benefited. She was able to trust the process since we've established this therapeutic relationship. And she said she felt a strong sense of peace after the process. She said, I've never seen the woman like that. She was laughing in her personality, in her body, and calm. She said she's never even seen her sit still and comfortable until after this process. She said it was amazing. So it really does rewire and refire new neural networks in your nervous system and in your mind and your body. It really is more like mind-body medicine. So what are your stories? Let's get into why you're here tonight. What are your stories? What stories stand in your way? And begin reflecting on this because I'm going to have you pick one and we're going to go through this tonight and allowing you to unwind it and untangle it so that you can come up with a new way of being with this pattern in your life. You guys feel good about that? Some thumbs up here? Yeah, good. Let's do it. So I'm going to have you first start by asking yourself 3 simple questions. Pick the issue that you're curious about understanding more about, that you're struggling with, or maybe a place you feel stuck, because this is really good navigating stuck places. So pick something right now and just allow yourself to reflect on it for just a moment. Just pick one thing. It doesn't have to be the hardest thing in your toolbox, but it can be if you want it to be. You're ready to dive in. And this is just our warm up to the inner counselor. So what I'd like to ask you is whatever the issue you're picking and working with, what does your mind say about it? Just reflect on that a moment. What does your mind say? You can journal it, you can think about it. You can just be with that. And then what does your fear say about this issue that you're dealing with? What does your fear say? Maybe similar to the mine, maybe different. What does that fear voice say inside of you? And then what does your knowing say? What does that part of you that knows, that can see the bigger picture? What does it say? What does your knowing say? Just give that a moment. Reflect on that just a minute. Now, which one of these do you think is your inner counselor? You think it's your mind? You do? Kind of raise your hand. You think it's your mind? No hands raised. Okay. Do you think it's your fear? Nope. Do you think it's your knowing? Yeah, exactly. It's your knowing. And so we're going to find a knowing for you tonight, if you, and in a deeper level, and we're going to help you embody that. so that you can live from that knowing. You can have that in the front seat of your car instead of your mind or your fear around the issue you're dealing with. Sound good? I'm going to find that knowing and put it in the front driver's seat of your life. Because you are so much more than your thoughts and your feelings. We get so lost in our thoughts and feelings, and they're important, of course. Positive psychology says we think more positively, things are better, right? It's a good thing. And your feelings are important. They give you information, but you are so much more than thoughts and feelings. And your energy body, right? Your energy doesn't lie. Chinese medicine will tell you this all day long, right? Yoga will tell you this all day long. We must honor your thoughts, feelings, and your energy. And we're going to do that in the inner counselor process, because your energy will tell you if you're exhausted about something, or you're angry about something, or you're just over something, or you feel stuck about something. It will tell you. Or you're triggered about something. You'll feel it. You can just feel it in your body, or just your whole energy. And so let's rewire a pattern for you that's more life-giving. You have this wiser, loving part of you, this knower, this inner knower that can help you and is there for you at all times. And we're going to set you up for success to connect to that tonight. So let's go meet them. So I'm going to take you through a process called the Inner Counselor Focus Process. And this is a shorter version of the one I do with my clients. The one I do with my clients can run 45 minutes to an hour. But tonight we're just going to do a 15, 20-minute version of this. And what it's going to do is it's going to give you some understanding of how this actually works. How do you transform? How do you release patterns and rewire new patterns? And I'm going to show you how. So I'm going to give you a definition of the inner counselor process. It targets the spiritual and psychological dimensions of a person to assist you in changing your response pattern. It's from reacting to responding. It also helps you get to the root of the suffering, helps you become more self-actualized, which is what Dr. Abraham Maslow, who was a psychologist years ago, used to say was one of the highest levels of consciousness that you can achieve, self-actualization. And then optimize your sense of joy and abundance and wholeness, you guys. When we feel whole, we're less despairing. We don't go out in the world with our wounds guiding and running the show. You know, it's just normal. We do that. We've done it for years. All of us have done it. But we want to be more resourced so that we don't have to walk around and let the wounds run the show. So the inner counselor has evolved into this incredible, highly effective approach for over 40 years. And it's also, besides helping heal wounds, it is an ongoing personal and spiritual development tool for accessing higher levels of consciousness. You are connected to the quantum field, as physicists would say, the collective unconscious, as Dr. Carl Jung might say, or your soul or your spiritual self. You have this ability to have this wiser part of you, this more loving part of you guide you. And there's all kinds of power, wisdom, and abundance within you. And you're way more powerful than you know. Truly, truly, truly. I'm still blown away by the things that come out of my clients' mouths when I do this process and the things that happen in their body. So the inner counselor is going to help you tonight align with a quality of your soul. So these, in my training, these are the qualities of your soul. And this is one of my favorite pages to go over, because I love that these are the qualities of the soul that they've researched in spiritual psychology. So one is strength, feeling strength in the midst of the life, storms of life. That if we're feeling vulnerable, we can still know that we've got this, regardless of what comes at us. And there may be moments that we don't feel that way, but the overall abiding feeling is that we've got this. Freedom, freedom. We feel free despite circumstance. We know we have choice, and we choose to be where we're being. And that's a huge gift, that feeling of freedom. Creativity. Could you imagine if we all got creative instead of stressed? How would that change the world? It would completely change the world if we got, there's a creative solution to this, as opposed to, oh my God, I don't know what I'm going to do. How am I going to handle this? What am I going to do? Right? Control, positive control. And what I mean by that is controlling what you can, staying in your lane and knowing what you can control versus trying to get in everybody else's lanes or anybody else's business or picking up other people's stuff, which we do if you're empathic. Mm. But having positive control, putting your energy where it's the most effective and efficient and where you can make the most difference instead of running up an ice hill, trying to do things that make you feel more powerless because they're things you can't control. Connection. Quality of the soul is connection. We feel connected to ourselves more. We feel connected to others more. And we feel connected to something larger, the capital S self, the soul self. Acceptance. We're able to accept what comes at us more quickly. Of course, there may be a grief process. Of course, there may be a healing process, but acceptance of, okay, this is what it is, and I'm going to navigate it. And then reciprocal love. I love that word, reciprocal love. We're able to have healthier relationships where there's give and there's take. Now, that doesn't mean tit for tat. It means give and take, meaning I can give to you in the ways I can, and I can receive from you, and vice versa. And then the four, overarching umbrellas of the soul are unconditional peace, trust, unconditional love, and joy. These four are the ones that we know our soul is operating with us, our highest nature is operating with us when we feel peace in circumstances that look crazy, when we're able to feel trust, when we're able to feel unconditional love, meaning you don't have to be a certain way for me to love you. Life doesn't have to look a certain way for me to love you. It doesn't mean we don't have, things we ask for or needs. I'm not saying that, and then joy. Joy being in the simple things, even. The sacred is in the simple. My teacher used to say, the sacred is in the simple. So like this glass of water, yum, best water ever, right? Well, I wouldn't live without it, right? We got to have things. So all of these wonderful qualities of the soul are here to be with us tonight. And you will access one or more of these in this process for yourself. Are you getting excited? I'm excited just talking about it. So Dr. Carl Jung used to say, learn your theories as well, but put them aside when you touch the miracle of the living soul. This is something that's possible for us all. So as we move out of these patterns of anxiety, disempowerment, shame, doubt, fear, depression, compulsive behaviors where we're doing things and we're like, dang, I wish I hadn't done that, right? Scarcity mentality, a relationship, and so much more, we move into healing. And why this process works, I'll tell you a little bit more and then we're going in. You have a mental body, according to spiritual psychology. You have a mind, and we're so glad you do. The mind thinks and it solves and it brainstorms and it problem solves and it does lots of amazing things, but we don't want it running the show, right? The mind is supposed to be well trained so that it doesn't take us down anxiety town, because it can. We have an emotional body, right? And this is a colorful part of us. It's like my shirt, right? It's colorful. It has all kind of hues, all kind of emotions, and it's a wonderful gift. And we're so grateful that we have it. But we don't want that running the show either. We want that to be an aspect of us. We want to let it inform us of what we like, what we don't like, how we felt in a situation, and how we want to feel. So we have a juxtaposition of where we've been and where we want to go. We have a physical body, and that's fabulous. Our body keeps the score, literally. That's the truth. It holds things for us, but we don't want it to be a container for a bunch of stuck energy and a bunch of painful memories. We want to move them up and out. And we're going to do that in the inner counselor work tonight. And you'll notice when you have a sensation in your body, you'll have a place you feel that in your body, and your mind and emotions will be connected to that feeling in your body. So that's really cool, because your body's trying to help you by showing you, oh, my stomach hurts when I think or feel that way. Oh, when I have that memory, my heart hurts. And we're going to shift the body sensations. That's when you know you're shifting. The body comes along. And all these patterns run through our system, and they create havoc or health. Havoc or health. So we're going to address all these levels in the inner counselor process, which is very exciting. So if ancient spiritual healing met quantum physics and psychology and they had a baby, we've got the inner counselor process. No parts left behind. So you're invited to experience this. So let's dive in. So we're going to hit these 3 levels of consciousness, you guys, as we go in. It's the next slide. We're going in. But these 3 levels of consciousness are our subconscious mind, which lives in the body, our conscious mind, which is more of our mental and emotional thinking, and then our superconscious, they call it in spiritual psychology, which is where those soul qualities of joy, love, peace, wisdom, intuition live. So cool that way. And we're going to hit all 3 of these levels of consciousness in this process. So you are brave and wonderful for being here. The good other thing I want you to know is you're in charge. If for some reason we're in this process and you want to open your eyes and you want to take a break, do that. Take care of yourself. Go back to your peaceful place. Give yourself some long, deep breaths. Breathing is a wonderful integrator. So when you breathe in from the nose and out through the mouth, you cannot have a panic attack if you're breathing correctly. It's the truth. And I've learned this over many, many years of struggling with panic disorder until I was free from it. So care for yourself as we're doing this work and allow yourself to take the pace you need to take. All right, so let's experience the inner counselor process. So if you're comfortable closing your eyes, go ahead and allow yourself to do that now. And just feel your feet on the ground and your head all the way to the sky. And I'd just like you to land on a peaceful place inside yourself. Because the more we go within, the more we find what's really happening. So find that peaceful place. It may be a place you've been to before, or you may be creating it right now. And then notice any smells or sights or sounds in this peaceful place. Are you outside? Are you inside? Are you by yourself? Are there others there? Animals, people, nature. And in this place, you feel strong, safe, and relaxed. And as you're there, I want you to invite in your highest self, whatever that is to you, your spiritual self, your soul, however you describe that, inviting in that to be your journey as we go forward in this process, to be your guide. Invite that in more consciously. And you may feel something, see something, sense something, or you just may kind of have a sense in your heart that something's here. Thanking your highest self for coming, your spirit, your spirit. And what is the issue that you'd like to look at more deeply in this process today? What is that issue you would like to understand more about or shift in your life? Just land on that for a moment. And as you land on the issue, I'd like you to notice what kind of feelings come up around that issue. What are the feelings when you reflect on the issue at hand? And are there any supporters that want to be with you to help you with this issue? Could be people, animals, spiritual support. Could be nothing shows up. Just notice, are there any supporters that want to be with you now to help you with this issue? Thank these supporters for coming if you have some. And if not, your higher nature is plenty. Now, going into these feelings in more depth, allow these feelings to take you to a place in your body. Where do you feel these feelings in your body regarding this issue that we're working on tonight? Where do you notice them in your body the most? In your stomach, your heart, your hands, all over? And let these feelings carry you to a time, could be recent, when you had these same feelings in your body. Where did you experience something similar? Let these feelings carry you there, an incident or an experience where you can remember feeling like this before in your body. And just ask your highest self to be with you, taking you to this moment in time. And ride those feelings back. And when you land on one place, or there may be several, you land somewhere, just notice what you notice about yourself in this memory. What do you notice about you? Let yourself observe what's happening with you. Are you stressed? Are you sad? Are you scared? What's happening? Remembering your highest self and your supporters are here with you. And when you notice yourself in this memory, I want you to imagine you could cry out what you really needed. I really needed blank instead of what's happening. I really needed peace. I really needed safety. I really needed connection. I really needed strength. I really needed freedom. What is it you really needed? Let yourself kind of cry out instead of what was happening, because clearly it was not probably the pleasant. And there may be multiple needs, and that's okay. And then I want you to go back to the old feeling in your body that we were just noticing, that old feeling, that old memory. And I want you to ask your highest self and your supporters to help you. And I want you to imagine you could pull that feeling, that old feeling of sadness or pain or fear or whatever that was, up and out of your body. Let it take a shape or a color. What does that old pattern look like? The feeling, the emotion, the energy of it. What does it look like? What does it feel like? If you were to draw it on a piece of paper, what would it look like? An old way of being that helped you. And then when you get this more clearly, I want you to notice, how did this help you survive? How did this way of being help you survive? You made it. I'm not saying you liked it, but you made it. And so how did it help you survive? Did it protect you? Did it just give you some tools? Did it just give you a place to land so you knew it didn't feel good? How did it help you survive? And then I want you to thank it. I know this may be counterintuitive, but I want you to thank it for helping you survive. People are like, no, I didn't like it, blah, blah. Right? But just thank it. You made it. whatever happened, whatever it was, I want you to thank it. Even if you can only thank it for just the fact that you made it to today. But really give it your thanks, your appreciation. You did the best you could at the time. And we're grateful. Good. And then I want you to ask it, is it willing to try something new so you can get what you really needed? Remember we talked about, I asked you, what did you really need? Is this old way willing to try something new? And is it safe to give this up now? Is it willing to try something new? My guess would be it would be because it showed up for you today. And if it's a little hesitant, that's okay. We're going to work with it. I want you to ask your highest self, your spiritual self, to bring you an image or a color that represents what you really needed. That real need, the safety or the peace or the love or the joy or the support or the connection. What did you really need? Bring you an image or a symbol that shows you that. What does that look like? What does that feel like? That new thing that you didn't get then, but that you need now. You needed it then, but now we're going to bring it back. Have your highest self bring you an image and a color that represents that real need. What was going to be healing for you? Good. And then ask this new way, is it willing to help the old way so you can have more of this now? And this may be new to you. It may be like, I don't usually normally talk to images and colors, but just remember, this is a part of you. This is a part of you that helped you survive. And so this new way is what you really needed. So ask this new way, is it willing to help you with the old survival pattern so that you can have more of what you need now? And if you got a yes or even a maybe, I want you to put that new image, color, feeling up beside the old. Imagine you've got one in your right hand, the old in the left hand, and I want you to bring them together. And I want you to let that new absorb and transform that old way, that old energy, the old color, the image. Let it absorb and transform that into something that works better. And this is not a mental process. So you'll have to close your eyes and actually let your imagination work for you instead of against. Putting the new image and color and pattern up beside the old and let it absorb and transform that old survival way. The fear, the anger, the sadness, whatever was happening. So allowing that to have a moment. Beautiful. I want you to notice what you see now. Is the new, has it absorbed and transformed the old? Are they kind of in dancing around with each other? You see a new way. Fantastic. I want you to breathe that in. I want you to breathe in this new way, breathing in what you really needed, that peace, that love, that joy, that connection, breathing it in and out with the old, in with the new, out with the old, In with the new and out with the old. Very good. Now, if you're not sure if they absorbed and transformed and you still see the old way, I want you to ask it, what's it afraid of? If it were to really let go to this new way, what's it afraid would happen? Is there any part of it that's afraid to let go? And then listen with all your heart. And then I want you to think it again. You made it. That was then, this is now. And then I want you to put the two up beside each other again and allow that new love, peace, joy, connection, strength, whatever that was, to absorb and transform the old. And allow that to happen now. Beautiful. You're doing great. I can see people having some shifts. So I want you to breathe this in, this new way again, into the body, place where it started, breathing it in, out with the old, in with the new, out with the old, and in with the new. And this new way has some advice for you about the issue that we started with. Remember that issue? I want you to notice, what does it say to you about that issue that we began with? What does it want you to know? This is your inner knower. Soak that advice in, let it in. Beautiful. Thank that advice for coming. And if you had any supporters show up, is there anything they want you to know about this issue? They came for support. Check in with them. We don't want to be rude to them. They showed up. Anything they want you to know. See some smiles. That's great. Beautiful. And then how do you want this new way to help you? So you'll know it's in charge instead of that old way moving forward. Give it some homework. How do you want it to help you now? So that you'll know this new way is running the show. Ask it. Say, I'd like you to help me be more peaceful when I run into my mother, or whatever, whatever that is that you're navigating. Have it, ask it to help you. And then thank it for that. Now I want you to take this new pattern, this new feeling, emotion, body pattern to your place of peace where we started. I want you to give it a place of honor. This new opening. I love that saying, the crack is where the light comes in. This new way that has more lightness. And may all the cells of your body know you're created by this new way. You are surrounded by this new way. You are protected by this new way. And you're ever growing into it every day. Thanking yourself, thanking your spiritual self, your highest self, and your imagination for working for you. Higher self often speaks to us through our imagination and all of these ways. Thanking your younger self for getting through it. And as you feel ready, thanking your adult self. We just keep thinking parts of you. And as you feel ready, breathing it into the cells of your body gently and slowly. And opening your eyes. Coming back to our class. All right, beautiful work, my friends. So I'm going to end with just a few more things, and then I'm going to stop the recording for the people who weren't here that we can send to them. But I will take some questions and answers after I stop the recording. If anyone has any questions or answers that they want to ask me about the process, or you want to just share with me what happened with you, I'd love to hear it. So I love this saying, my mother Teresa, she said, there is a light in this world, a healing that is more powerful than any darkness we may encounter. And I believe that. And I'm so grateful that you were open to this experience tonight and that you were able to see these patterns and bring in a new way of being into your system, into your mind, into your body. If you want further support, I have lots of free giveaways at my website, drshannonsouth.com. The Inner Counselor website has a free masterclass. And this may be something, if you liked what I was teaching you tonight, you may want to go watch the free masterclass that's on the innercounselor.com site. It is a course that I gave to a bunch of counselors and coaches. It's an hour-long course. It's very, very in-depth. And I also take someone through the process in a longer version. Or on that site, you can get on the wait list for upcoming trainings that I'm having in terms of teaching and training people this process. I have a free quiz if you want to know more about what is standing in your way of success and joy. It helps you get to that subconscious thing in you. It's called the 7 Subconscious Survival Traps. And then if you feel like you need some support, from what happened tonight and you want to talk to me, you can schedule a free 15-minute call with me if you'd like to. It's on my website as well, at the drshannonsouth.com website. There also is an inner counselor focus process, which is what we did tonight on YouTube. So you can go take yourself through it again. The more we do this work, the more evolved we get at it. And the more we let go to it, the more incredible experiences that our system continues to have an opportunity to have. So if you want to go to this YouTube, the inner counselor focus process, just look that up on YouTube and you can find it there. It's a short version like we did tonight. And then I'm doing another live next month. So if you want to come do it again, show up, come live. I'd love to have you. Or if you want to get on the wait list for the inner counselor, that's on the innercounselor.com page as well to have more trainings. So I'm happy to stay on with further questions. But again, I want to thank you for your bravery and your curiosity and showing up tonight and being willing to try something new. This is truly mind-body medicine, and it is the most powerful thing I've ever used with clients. And I'm so happy that I got to share it with you tonight. So I'm going to end the recording, but thank you again. And I'd love to hear from any of you if you were willing to share your experience on how things went, or if you'd just like to chat with me, let's do it. All right. For those of you who aren't here in person, I'm sending you my love and take good care, and feel free to reach out and use any of these supports at any time. All right. Bye-bye.